देखिए निखिल, पहले तो मैं जो 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 मुद्दा है हमारी वो
चलिए आपको मैं रोकूंगा, फिलहाल यहाँ से सीधे लिए चलेंगे MEA की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए।
The atrocities on minorities and also the arrest of this ISKCON member. And I have a second question. Any update on the 8th naval veteran? It's been close to 10 months now.
Azali?
So regarding the Bangladesh issue, only that the External Affairs Ministry and the Government of India has been issuing statements, but there are groups there who are also asking assistance from the Indian government. So is there a kind of contingency plan if the situation worsens?
Sir, Keshav Padmanabhan from the Print. My first question, sir, yesterday in the Rajya Sabha, the MOS in an answer said that 2 Indians have died in Israel, one from an attack in Lebanon and one from an attack from Gaza in May. Can you give us a sense whether these 2 Indians had arrived in Israel since October 2023, or were they there previously, or were they under the framework agreement? My second question, sir, can you give us a sense of whether now, after the various agreements with China on patrolling, whether India has got access to all 5 patrolling points, which were the friction points, after all these conversations? Thank you, sir.
Siddhant?
Hi, sir. Siddhant from Vion. Sir, what's your view regarding the security situation in Pakistan? I'm asking this question in the context of the Champions Trophy next year. Will India be keen to send its team or not, given that the situation in Pakistan looks very precarious?
Rishabh?
Good evening, sir. Rishabh from Times Now. Sir, has there been any communication between Delhi and Dhaka after the recent violence and the deteriorating situation of law and order, given that there have been an open call for intervention from India by various groups in various parts of Bangladesh? Has there been any discussion between Dhaka and Delhi about it?
Any more questions on Bangladesh? Bangladesh? Yeah?
There have been, Sandra from Deutsche Welle, there have been reports about a planned meeting in Dhaka at the level of the foreign secretaries. Is that still on under given circumstances? And if yes, has a date been set to that effect?
So how New Delhi is reacting, especially on supply of commodities like essentials like potatoes and onions, after shipment of first shipment from Karachi to Chattogram?
Sir, I'm Sahil from ANI. Sir, will there be any assistance from India for the Hindu minorities there in Bangladesh? Is there any plan?
Okay, so let me come first to the Bangladesh. Sorry, yeah?
That there was a news that in Lalmonirhat, very near to the chicken neck, Bangladesh developed an airbase over there with the economical help of Biden government and the Qatar. What do you think about that? Is that is any problematic for India?
Is it Qatar and? Oh, okay, okay. So, Yeli, first your question regarding Bangladesh, situation in Bangladesh, and several of our friends here have asked similar question. So, on that, I would say that India has consistently and strongly raised with the Bangladesh government the threats and targeted attacks on Hindus and other minorities. Our position on the matter is very clear. The interim government must live up to its responsibility of protecting all minorities. We are concerned at the surge of extremist rhetoric, increasing incidents of violence and provocation. These developments cannot be dismissed only as media exaggerations. We once again call upon Bangladesh to take all steps for the protection of minorities. You also asked a question regarding ISKCON. We see ISKCON as a globally well-regarded organization with a strong record of social service. As far as the question of the arrest of Sri Chinmoy Das is concerned, we had made a statement on that. And it is our expectation that cases against individuals, as far as they are concerned, these legal processes are underway, and we hope and we expect that these processes will be dealt in a fair, just, and transparent manner, ensuring full respect of their legal rights of these individuals and all those who are concerned. Your question regarding the 8th Naval Veteran, we had informed you earlier that he has certain requirements to fulfill, or as and when those requirements are fulfilled, he'll return back to India. We don't have an update, Yeshi, on this particular 8th veteran, over and above what we have been saying earlier. Ghazali, we've made our position very clear as far as the situation of minorities, Hindus and minorities in Bangladesh is concerned, and we have raised this matter with Bangladesh, that they must take responsibility of protecting the minorities and safeguarding their interests, providing for their safety and security. Keshav, regarding the 2 deaths that you mentioned, my understanding is that these predate October of 2023. I mean, as in going there, the gentleman, the death that had happened, he had gone there on his own accord. That is what I realized. On the second case, I will come back to you. On the patrolling issue, we have made this very clear that as has been agreed between the 2 countries, patrolling has begun, and there is no issue on that accord. Siddhant, on Indian cricket team participating in Pakistan, the BCCI has issued a statement. So I would refer you to the statement. They have said that there are security concerns there, and therefore it is unlikely the team will be there, going there. But please do refer to the statement issued by the Board of Cricket Control in India. Rishabh, your question regarding talks between Delhi, yes, we have been raising and consistently raising this issue of law and order in Bangladesh, and as I just said before, it is a matter of concern to us, and we have been consistently raising this issue with the interim government in Bangladesh. Regarding proposed meeting, see, these meetings, as and when we have them firmed up, and we'll make an announcement, and you'll come to know if such meetings are happening at the level of Foreign Secretary. Ayangshaw, on supply of commodities, my understanding is that supply of commodities from India to Bangladesh continues, and likewise, if trade between Bangladesh and India continues in both directions. Sahil, again, the assistance on the question of assistance, we made our position very clear that we continue to demand with the government, continue to raise the matter with the government of Bangladesh that they must take on the responsibility of protecting the minorities in the country. Indrani had a question about airbase. These are security issues that pertain to the government of Bangladesh. Can we go for more? More of Bangladesh? We'll start from there.
This is Sahasini Heather from The Hindu. I wanted to ask about the recent US Department of Justice and SEC indictments of the Adani Group and 8 officials and all, including its chairperson. To begin with, I wanted to ask whether India was informed of these investigations and at what point any cooperation sought from India into these investigations. Conversely, has India, now that the indictments have been filed, actually asked for evidence to support any investigations in India? Because the crimes committed, according to the US Foreign Corrupt Practices are really have been committed in India allegedly. So those were my two questions. And also how the government actually sees a US investigation into alleged bribery and corruption in India being investigated there. Do you see it as a case of US overreach? And just one follow-up if possible, how do you respond to the Bangladesh Foreign Ministry statement that essentially says, speaking about the internal legal system, the cases against an individual are an internal matter for Bangladesh? How do you respond to that?
Sudhi?
So, Shruti Ranjan from Bloomberg. So, adding on to Suhasini's question, if you could give us clarity on whether the warrant or the summons have been served on the Indian High Commission in Washington, and if so, what is then the legal process, and by what time do we expect the same to be served on Mr. Adani?
Anima?
Dynama from ABP Live. Just following on Ayanangshu's question, is this a matter of concern? How is India viewing it, the first shipment of cargo from Karachi to Chattogram port? Thank you.
Jugal?
So hi, this is Jugal from BBC. I've got two questions, sir. We saw that the Chief of Army Staff had visited Nepal earlier this week, and it was said to be a highly successful visit after he arrived back in India. The question is, was the issue of the Agniveer scheme and Nepal's lack of participation for the Gorkha troops, was that discussed with the Nepalese government? And whether it is an ongoing discussion or we're not now into that domain at all. And the second question is, we've seen some reports of Indian workers who were stranded in Maldives as a result of non-payment of their wages and some work visa processing issues. I believe out of 9 of them, 2 or 3 have managed to return, but the remaining still are stranded. If you could just give us a comment on what the MEA is doing on that case. Okay. Thank you.
Sanjay?
My question is slightly transatlantic. It's about tragic death of Indian woman, Hasita Brela. Apparently suspect is an Indian citizen who's run away from UK. Has the Indian government received any red corner notice or any request to sort of pursue the investigation in India?
Okay. So, Suhasini, first coming to question. See, we see this as a legal matter involving private firms and individuals and the US Department of Justice. Obviously, there are established procedures and legal avenues in such cases which we believe will follow, would be followed. And the Government of India, so far, we have not, to answer your question, we have not been informed in advance on the issue. We haven't had any conversation also on this particular matter with the US government. Also, related question came from Sudhi. So, I would like to inform you that, any request by a foreign government for service of summons or arrest warrant is part of mutual legal assistance. But such requests are examined on merits. We have not received any request on this case from the US side. This is a matter which pertains to a private individual and a private entity. The Government of India has, we are not legally, we are not part of it in any manner at this point in time. So we see it as a case between the US Department of Justice and private individuals and entities. On the question regarding Bangladesh, on the arrest of Chinmay Das, we had issued a statement, and it is our expectation that, while we know that the case moves on, legal processes are underway, it is our expectation that he will get fair and transparent trial, and that his legal rights will be respected. Sudhi, I answered your question on warrant. Huh? Nainima, again, to Ayan's question, as far as we are concerned, there is exchange of commodities between India and Bangladesh, and that continues. Jugal, to answer your question, Chief of Army Staff, yes, he visited Nepal. It was a good visit, fruitful visit. Several aspects of our ongoing cooperation were discussed. Whether exactly this particular issue was addressed or not, I am not certain, but I can come back to you on this particular matter. On Maldives, the issue of non-payment, our mission there, our embassy, is seized of the matter, and they are looking into as to how they can resolve this issue so that our people can, whatever is required to be done, payments to be made, that will be made. Sanjay, on this Harshita Brela case, we understand very unfortunate death. We have not received any request on this account as yet. Hello.
Kalol from the Hindu, sir. Of course, India has a position, when it comes to, say, political activists commenting on Indian affairs from, say, Canada and other countries. We have traditionally opposed it. But yesterday we saw Sheikh Hasina and the Awami League carried her comments on all the platforms of the Awami League. And, she openly criticized the interim government, called it a failure on multiple fronts. Do you think Sheikh Hasina's presence here and this sort of activism is detrimental to Indian interest?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, Aparajit from China Daily. Next year, from China Daily. Next year marks the 75th anniversary of diplomatic ties between India and China. Both sides agreed to organize some commemorative events. Can you please share some details of these commemorative events?
Okay. ब्रह्म
प्रकाश न्यूज़ इंडिया से मेरा सवाल चीन को लेकर ये सर, लद्दाख में जिन पॉइंट्स पर तनाव चल रहा था चीन के साथ, उसको लेकर क्या अपडेट है, क्या स्थिति सामान्य है?
So, Karol, first to answer a question, our concerns, Government of India's concerns have been conveyed to the Government of Bangladesh, that we expect that they take on the responsibility of ensuring safety and security of the minorities. So we have conveyed our concerns. That is where I will limit myself on your question. Aparajita, regarding your question, you would have seen we had issued, after the meeting that happened in Rio between External Affairs Minister and the Chinese Foreign Minister, we had issued a press release. The press release very clearly says that both countries are going to have foreign secretary level and other talks to take forward next steps in the relationship. So as and when, once we are able to have those talks in place, thereafter the next steps will be decided. ब्रह्म प्रकाश जी,
तो आप देख रहे थे सीधा प्रसारण MEA की प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस। MEA के प्रवक्ता, विदेश मंत्रालय के प्रवक्ता रणधीर जायसवाल, वो प्रेस के सवालों का जवाब दे रहे थे। उन्होंने साफ तौर पर कहा कि बांग्लादेश के मामले में भारत सरकार ने अपना पक्ष जो है वो बहुत सुदृढ़ तरीके से रखा है और जो वहाँ पर हिंसा हो रही है उसको ख़त्म करने की बात कही है। फिलहाल हम जो चर्चा कर रहे थे, वक्फ बिल को एंटी सेकुलर बताया था ममता बनर्जी ने, उस पर हमारी चर्चा जारी रहेगी, लेकिन रुकेंगे एक छोटे से ब्रेक के लिए। आप कहीं मत जाइएगा, हम जल्द हाजिर होंगे।
MDH का किचन किंग किचन में हो तो हम सब कुछ बना सकते हैं।